And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was once approached by a group of Sahaba. They said to him, Ya Rasulullah, we find something in our hearts that is huge, big burden. Yani, we'd rather be charcoal than speak these words. Allahu Akbar. What are these words? Yani, words of kufr. Al-ulama rahimahumullah said, words of kufr, big words that a person is not supposed to say. They went to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they said, we find this in our hearts, awwal waswas. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, awaqad wajadtumuh? Really, you're finding something like this? They said, yes. He said to him, ذاك صريح الإيمان. He said to him, that's a sign of iman. Allahu Akbar. Yani, what's a sign of iman? Not the evil thoughts are a sign of iman. The fact that they're inside of you and they keep circling inside of you and you keep remaining silent about them, that is a sign of iman. That is a sign of iman. Yani, this is a hadith, good news for people that have this kind of waswas. Relax. So long as you don't utter it and speak it out and preach it, then bi'idhnillah, you're upon goodness. And if anything, this is a sign of iman. How is it a sign of iman? Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, he went past the Jews. Well, the Jews, they said to him, إِنَّا لَا نُوَسْوَسُ فِي صَلَاتِنَا. Yani, a Jew is trying to show, he's trying to tell Ibn Mas'ud that we're better than you. How? He said, you people, you Muslims, you have waswas in your salat. ونحن Alhamdulillah, we have no waswas in our salat. اليهود. فhe said to him, وَمَا يَفْعَلُ الشَّيْطَانُ بِقَلْبٍ خَرَابٍ. What's a shaitan going to do with a ruined, destroyed heart anyway? أنت خلاص, you're going to Jahannam with him, he's finished. He's not going to waste time on you. Nama, he's going to come to the believer, the one that's still firm and strong upon his iman. He'll come and try to bring him to become a Yahudi, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, right? فإذا, يعني, he said to him, وَمَا يَفْعَلُ الشَّيْطَانُ بِقَلْبٍ خَرَابٍ. This is how we deal with the internal waswas. يعني, we disregard it. We say Alhamdulillah. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even said to those companions, Alhamdulillah, الَّذِي رَدَّ كَيْدَهُ إِلَى الْوَسْوَسَةِ. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he gave them good news. He told them, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, that these matters, Allah Azza wa Jal categorized them as waswasa. He categorized them as waswasa. And so long as they're inside, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, there is no issue at all. Reading, yani, also what cures this issue is to read ayat that mention the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ وَآيَةُ الْكُرْسِي. Allahu Akbar. If these ayat and these surah were read properly with a conscious heart, where you open up in the meanings of these surah, what kind of waswas would remain? It would shatter. It would shatter him. What is going to wake you up, my brother? What is going to wake up this heart of yours? What is something that is going to keep you remembering Allah Azza wa Jal and never forget Allah? In the next ayah, Allah says, لَوْ أَنزَلْنَا هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. Al-Quran is going to keep you awake and alive. Al-Quran is what's going to keep you connected with Allah. Al-Quran is going to make sure you never forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jal quickly in the ayah tells us what kind of effect this Quran would have on a non-living object, on a mountain that is not resurrected on the Day of Judgment, that will not be questioned by Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, will not end up in paradise or hell. A mountain. If this Quran was revealed on a mountain, لَرَأَيْتَهُ خَاشِعًا. You would have seen it humble, soft. Mountain in reality is solid, it's strong, but you would have seen it soft. مُتَصَدِّعًا, it would have exploded. And you know, when a mountain, when a rock explodes, what happens? Allah Azza wa Jal, He says to us, وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَشَّقَّقْ فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءِ. When a mountain explodes, water comes out of it. This is the effect the Quran would have on a mountain. If this Quran had effect on the heart, the first sign of it is that tears would start to flow out. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, إِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُ الرَّحْمَنِ خَرُّوا سُجَّدًا وَبُكِيًّا. Umar radiyallahu anhu, when he read this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal says in the ayah, if the ayat of Allah are recited unto them, they fall into sajda and they begin to cry. Umar radiyallahu anhu would make the sajda and he would say, Ya Umar, هذا السجود فأين البكاء. This is a sujood, this is the prostration. Where is the buka? Where is this crying? Where is this effect of the Quran in our life? لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس. These are the examples that we set for people لعلهم يتفكرون, so that they may ponder about it. But then the big question, and this is the final thing, Why aren't the hearts responding to the Quran? Why? We read an ayah after ayah. The ayah in where Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Ali Imran, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, that you will not attain the paradise until you give from that which you love. This one ayah was enough for one companion to go to his garden and donate 600 palm trees he had. He could have donated 300, 400, but leave something for you. He donated all of them because of this one ayah. Effect. Quran used to have an effect. It used to have he used to move the people. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to cry when he heard the Quran. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu couldn't pass by 2-3 ayat except that he cries. Why doesn't the Quran have this effect in our life? The conclusion of the surah will tell you why. Because the people did not know who Allah Azza wa Jal is. They don't have true knowledge of Allah. People are ignorant about Allah. So Allah concludes the surah with His names. He reintroduces Himself to mankind. Huwa Allah. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu. Alimul ghaybi wa shahada. It is Allah, none worthy of worship except Him. Alimul ghaybi wa shahada, the knower of the seen and the unseen. Huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He is the most merciful. When you hear the name of Allah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the door of at-Tawbah is open. The door of at-Tawbah is open. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He's inviting you to at-Tawbah. Don't worry about the days that passed in where you forgot about Allah and you forgot about dhikrullah and about the worship of Allah. Don't worry and regret. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, up until this day, He's Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The door of at-Tawbah is open before you. Make it over today and begin to reform today. You still have the time to make it. And what is yet to come is better than what already came. Huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Huwa Allah. Once again, these 3 ayat reintroducing who Allah Azza wa Jal is to us. Wallahi, my brothers, it's important. If you do not know who Allah is, you're going to forget about Allah. You have to learn about Allah Azza wa Jal. The problem is, our heart is not filled with Allah. If I said to one of you, get up here and talk to me about Allah for 2 minutes, don't repeat yourself. How many can do that? But if I told you, get up and speak a friend that you love, speak to me about him, you'll sit for 10 minutes. You'll tell me what he loves, what he eats, what he drinks, what times he likes to sleep, what hobbies he loves, where he loves to travel. You can sit for 10 minutes. Then your heart is filled with His love. But when I say to you, come, tell me about Allah for 2 minutes, don't repeat yourself, you wouldn't know what to say. Meaning there's a problem. We're ignorant about Allah. This is why the Quran has no effect. This is why we forget about Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said to Iblis, what prevented you from making a sajda the second I commanded you? Yani, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not destroy a person or a nation or a people until He questions them for their wrong. Even Iblis, before Allah cursed him, He questioned him. He said to him, Ma mana'ak? What prevented you from making this sajda that I commanded you to do? And you see this question, it's not only for Iblis, it's for each and every single person that neglects Allah's obligations. Yani today when you didn't pray Salat al-Fajr, Ma mana'ak? What prevented you from praying Salat al-Fajr the second Allah commanded you to do it? You know, Iblis, Allah Azza wa Jalla is reprimanding him because he did not make the sajda on time. Had he made the sajda 2-3 minutes later, it would have been useless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us to obey Him the second He calls us. The second He calls us. As-salat al-adhan is made, you drop everything and you come to as-salat. You disregard your sleep and you get up. Ramadan begins the second it begins, you get into the form and mode of worship. Ma mana'ak idh amartuk? What prevented you? What prevented you from fulfilling Allah's obligations the second He commanded you to do it? When you choose a day to pay your zakat al-mal, why do you delay it for? Pay it the second Allah commanded you to do so. And this goes on with every worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. My brothers in Islam, delaying the obligation is a crime. Delaying the obligation is a sin against Allah. This is what Iblis is being reprimanded for. The only worship in the Quran in which Allah Azza wa Jal commanded us to make the most of is dhikrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing else. يعني شوف in Surah Al-Anfal وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا, make dhikr of Allah in abundance. In Al-Ahzab وَالذَّاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا, those who make abundant dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Surah Al-Ahzab يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ ذِكْرًا كَثِيرًا. There is no other worship in the Quran that you and I are told to make plenty and plenty of other than al-dhikr. You see the importance of dhikr in controlling al-waswas in your life. 13 times mentioned in the Quran. Other than as-sujood, which is mentioned in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that for a person to make plenty of sujood, meaning plenty of salat. But then even then when you look at that hadith, as-sujood is the highest form of dhikr. Why? Because the body is in dhikr, the limbs are in dhikr, they've made sujood, the heart is in dhikr, and the tongue is in dhikr when it says Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. And what we mean by this is the morning dhikr, the afternoon dhikr, a dhikr before you sleep, when you wake up, every movement, whatever you do in life, al-dhikr is always going to keep you protected. And that's how you're going to earn khans min ash-shaytan. That's how you're going to keep him away and keep him small and keep him disappearing, keep on disappearing in your life بذكر الله سبحانه وتعالى. So, من شر الوسواس الخناس. فإذا الشيطان is weak. That's the word khannas. It highlights his weakness. Allah Azza wa Jal, when he described the shaitan, he said, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. That the evil planning and plotting and the whispering of a shaitan has always been weak. But the waswas of the shaitan is only weak when you fight it with a dhikr and worship. Otherwise it's going to be strong. Imagine now if someone was fighting. If you just let him keep hitting you, then he's always going to be there. He won't move. But if you keep up a fight and you battle him back, right? And there's one punch and another, and eventually someone's going to go, the battle will stop and one will leave. The same thing with our relationship with a shaitan. He keeps hitting you with waswas, waswas, waswas. The only way you're going to defend yourself and hit him back is bidhikrillah, with the worship. That's when his evil plotting becomes weak. Otherwise, he'll take over, he'll destroy you, and he'll destroy this life and the hereafter for you. And that's why it's very important to understand that the most effective solution against the shaitan is that every time you fall into his trap, make a hasana straight after it.